So I will convene the meeting of the Higher Education and Employment Advancement Committee. If your laptop is on in the room, please put it on mute. I think that might be you there. I'm hearing myself twice. All right. The first item on the agenda is remarks by the chairs. Senator Slapp, did you have anything you wanted to say to begin the meeting?
No, Mr. Chair, ready to go, and good to see you all.
Right. I am similarly ready. Do either of our ranking members have any comments they want to make before we start the meeting today? No? Good. Okay, great. So the first item on the agenda is next item on the agenda is item number 3. These are proposed bills to vote to draft. Trying to, do this as expeditiously as possible. I thought it might make sense for us to take questions on any of these 3 items from members of the committee, and then we can assess the mood of the room to determine whether or not they could be moved to a consent calendar or if we should have an individual roll call vote. So are there any questions on 1, 2, or 3 under bills proposed to draft? Representative Haynes.
Thank you. One of the questions that our folks have is that we're understanding that Chesla can do this already. And I just wanted to be sure that that was indeed the case.
So that's a question about the first item on the agenda. It's proposed bill 5233, an act concerning loan repayment options of the Connecticut Higher Education Supplemental Loan Authority. I think this item was proposed by Representative Turco. Representative Turco, did you want to address that question?
Sure, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the question. I've only had a brief conversation with Chesla about their authority to be able to currently do this. I was hoping to learn a lot more during the public hearing process. It's my understanding that the way that Chesla goes out and gets their bonds to be able to offer the student loans and the way they need to be paid back as these revenue bonds doesn't currently work with offering student driven income repayment because of the schedule when they have to pay them back. They'd have to issue a different kind of bond. So I don't know if they need some sort of statutory authority to then be able to take out a different kind of bond than they currently do. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you. Are there additional questions about the first item, proposed bill 5233?
Thank you, Chairman. In going through the proposal, it looks like that this is pushing for creating a lower minimum payment for former students who have lower incomes. My concern on this is, does the loan ever get paid off? Or are you just paying off interest like a credit card and you have long-term extended debt? And I have serious questions of whether this is in the long-term financial viability of low-income students over the life of their working careers, where they're basically saddled with a long-term debt that they can never get out of, much like the predatory credit card companies used to do. So I have serious concerns regarding this piece of legislation.
Great. Is that a statement or a question? I have questions. Representative Turco, did you want to address that question?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. And I would say as a response to that, I mean, it would depend on how the program was designed to ensure that the loan got paid off in a timely, responsible manner and didn't get dragged out over many years. And as you said, straddled the individual with this long-term debt. This committee has had informational forums in the past where we've brought in some national experts on student loan debt and relief that exist. And one of the things that we heard was that income-driven repayment programs are one of the most helpful ways to assist an individual with a lot of debt who graduates from a higher education institution with being able to repay back that loan and still be able to establish themselves in our communities in other ways. So being able to purchase a home or afford rent or food or other costs that they have to be able to live here and thrive in Connecticut. And that's sort of where this bill is coming from. The intent behind the bill is how do we help those individuals with paying back their loans at a percentage of their overall income that's affordable to them at that time. You know, you graduate, you make $30,000 your first job out of college. Paying $1,000 a month is unrealistic, and that is what a lot of our young people are straddled with, and they'll have to live at home. They won't be able to fully integrate into the society. They may take a job in Boston or New York and leave in Connecticut because they can get paid more there, which we don't want. So this program is intended as their income increases, then for their responsibility to increase. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative. Yeah, I would just take this opportunity to remind folks that, this is not a vote to pass this bill into law. It is a vote of should we have this conversation, right? And should we have Chesla in here and ask those very good questions, I think. Let's have it and let's figure out, the best way to move forward. So thank you for your leadership on this. And I look forward to the public hearing on this bill. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion?
Thank you.
Representative Cooley, you're all set?
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Representative Lanu.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have a quick question for the proponent, if I may, or through you. I want to thank you for the intent of the legislation to help kids who are, perhaps don't have the funding early on, don't have the income early on. And I understand this is just a proposal to draft, but is there some kind of contemplation in here that will prevent any sort of prepayment penalty? So if there's a young person that has some good fortune, comes into some money and wants to accelerate their payments, repay their student loan quicker, they will have the ability to do that without some sort of prepayment penalty.
Representative Turco.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, Representative, so this bill doesn't have those type of details in it yet. It's really the concept around the issue. And as the good Senate Chairman said, I think that is something we certainly can discuss as a committee and with individuals that testify from Chesla and other advocates to figure out, what the best language of this bill should be.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I appreciate that, and I will vote to move this concept forward today to get it drafted. But I would just to put in my perspective here, I would like to see something added to the bill that would preclude any type of prepayment penalty, so we can get these young people out of debt as quick as possible. And so I'd like to see some sort of language added to that, and hopefully everybody's agreeable to that. Thank you very much.
So if there's no further discussion on the first item, we'll proceed to a voice vote on a motion. Well, actually, I need a motion to draft proposed bill 5233. Is there a motion? Motion's been made by Senator Slapp and seconded by Representative Haynes. The clerk will call the roll. The clerk will call the roll.
Representative Haddad?
Yes.
Senator Slapp?
Yes.
Representative Haynes?
Representative Haynes votes yes.
Senator Kelly?
Yes.
Representative Rochelle?
Yes.
Senator Mar? Representative Arseno?
Representative Arseno, yes.
Representative Brown? Representative Case?
Yes.
Representative Cooley?
No.
Representative D'Amico?
Yes.
Representative Farrar, yes.
Senator Flexer?
Senator Flexer votes yes.
Representative Fortier?
Representative Fortier, yes.
Representative Johnson,
Representative Johnson, yes.
Representative Lanu. Yes. Senator Lopes,
Senator Lopes votes yes.
Senator Maroney. Representative Paris. Representative Scott. Representative Turco
Representative Turco votes yes.
and Representative Weir.
Thank you. I think it's our intention to hold votes open for a period of time after the committee is finished with its business, but before we adjourn. I anticipate that'll be around 1 o'clock. We'll see how the rest of the meeting goes, but I think it'll probably be 1 o'clock. So there are two additional items under item agenda number 3. It's proposed bill 6101 concerning graduate school tuition waivers, and another House Bill 6354. Are there any questions, or is there can we accept a motion to motion's been made to add them to a consent calendar? Great. The motion's been made to add them to a consent calendar. The motion's been made by Representative Case and seconded by Representative Haynes. So we'll hold those and see what else that we can add to the consent calendar before we vote on those items. Item number 4, items to reserve for subject matter public hearing. There are a number of items here, items number 1 through 11. Thank you. I've been corrected by our LCO attorney. And so rather than set up a consent calendar, those two items under proposed bills vote to draft. I think if we're prepared, we can have a voice vote on those at this point, right? So all those in favor of drafting those two items, 6101 and 6354, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? That motion passes. So then now moving on to item number 4, items to reserve for subject matter public hearing. There are 11 bills listed here. I can go through them one by one and ask for questions, or if folks have questions about any of the items, you feel free to ask those questions now, and then we'll see if we can resolve to have a motion at some point. Are there any questions about these items? Representative Case.
How do you want to do it? One by one, or you want to?
So let's start with item number 1 then. I will
No
go through them.
questions.
5232, prohibiting public institutions of higher education for receiving money for introducing students to online gambling. Is there any questions about that item? No. Item number 2, 5441, concerning Connecticut graduates who work in fields of education or healthcare in the state. Is there any questions about that item? No. Item number 3, 5737, and that concerning health insurance for retired part-time faculty and the Connecticut State University system. Are there questions about this item?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I
Yes,
have
Representative Cooley.
Thank you. Does this include part-time faculty teaching online who reside out of state?
This item came to us from Representative D'Amico. Representative D'Amico, do you want to address that question?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. And I just want to say thank you to the committee for having a public hearing on this bill last year. And I appreciate the fact that it's on our agenda again today. So to specifically address Representative Cooley's question, I do not know the answer to that, but I suspect that if we have the usual robust public hearing here in in higher ed, we will get the answer to that question. How's that?
Thank you.
Representative Case.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I think to the good representative and his explanation, that was one of the reasons we didn't move forward, because we didn't get the information on the out-of-state people who were teaching an adjunct. And that's what stalled a lot of it. So we need to get that because I know of some that are out of state.
Yeah, I appreciate the question too. This section is to reserve for subject matter public hearing a number of proposed bills. We know that proposed bills aren't fully drafted. After a public hearing, if this committee decided that it wanted to move forward on this agenda item, we would vote to draft it or not. And that would be a moment in time when I think that we would take the collective wisdom of members of the committee, informed by our public hearing, to make decisions about how that bill would actually be drafted, and then subsequently would come before the committee for a motion to pass it out of committee if we felt that the draft was in order. I know you know that part of the process, but that just so members of the public know, that's where we are in the process. Representative Case.
Yeah, for the second time, and I agree with you on that, and I agree pulling things to public hearings. My only concern is sometimes with bills and committees that I've been in, I look at it as giving some false hope because we know that there might be some issues with the bill. Why pull the people in here when we know it's not going to move forward? But if we believe there's other avenues that it's going to move forward, then we hear it. It didn't move forward last year. There were some stumbling blocks because we didn't get some information. I would have thought that if this came forward now a second time, we would have the information. So I just pulling people in and having the same problem. That's where my concern is, giving hope where there might not be. So that's all.
Thank you. Am I to discern from the comments that members would like to have an individual vote on this agenda item? Is that a yes, Representative Case? Representative? And a roll call vote? Okay, so I'll accept a motion to reserve for public hearing item number 3, proposed House Bill 5737. Somebody wants to make that motion. It's been made by Senator Slap, seconded by Representative D'Amico. If there's any further discussion, I see there is. Senator Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a lot of questions on this, but I'll be voting yes to have the conversation. And I'm sure we'll have a lot of questions at that time. We'll see where the questions go. And then we'll discern whether to support this initiative or not at the end. Thank you.
Thank you for that comment, Senator Kelly. Are there any further discussion? If not, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll. And I want to give a special credit to all of those in the first roll call who said their title and their name prior to their vote. I'm reading the rules. That's what we're supposed to do. And so when we do it, we'll try to adhere to those rules. The clerk can call the roll.
Representative Haddad,
Representative Haddad votes yes.
Senator Slap,
Senator Slap votes yes.
Representative Haynes, Senator Kelly,
Senator Kelly votes yes.
Representative Rochelle,
Representative Rochelle votes yes.
Senator Mar, Representative Arseno,
Representative Arseno votes yes.
Representative Brown, Representative Case, Representative Cooley,
Representative Cooley, yes.
Representative D'Amico,
Representative D'Amico votes yes.
Representative Farrar,
Representative Farrar votes yes.
Senator Flexer,
Senator Flexer votes yes.
Representative Fortier,
Representative Fortier votes yes.
Representative Johnson,
Representative Johnson votes yes.
Representative Lanu,
Representative Lanu votes no.
Senator Lopes,
Senator Lopes votes yes.
Senator Maroney, Representative Paris, Representative Scott, Representative Turco,
Representative Turco votes yes.
and Representative Weir.
Thank you. And again, we'll hold that vote open until probably 1 o'clock. We'll make that determination at the end, right before the end of our business. Item number 4 is an act concerning student representation on the Board of Regents for Higher Education. Are there any questions about this bill? Representative Case.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as doing a little research, don't we already have two that serve on this through you?
I don't know if anybody else knows the answer to the question. I don't currently have that information in front of me. I recall at one point there were two student members on the Board of Regents. I know that there's also something called the Student Advisory Board. I don't know what the current the state of the student representation on this board is.
In having the president of the Board of Regents in my district, there are two voting students that do vote on the board. So I'm just curious how this reinstates it. Are their votes no longer good?
I think that's a good question, Representative Case. This is sort of a companion to item number 8, which would increase the number of student members on the Board of Trustees at the University of Connecticut. I think from my perspective, I was looking to ensure that if we were to have a total number of 4 voting student members on the Board of Trustees at the University of Connecticut, that we would consider a similar increase in the student representation, or make sure that there's equitable match between the two boards. And so that's my intention for where this might head. I don't know if that answers your question fully, but that's my intention for adding both of the bills to the agenda.
And I'm fine with hearing it.
Are there any additional questions about that item? Next item is an act concerning the Connecticut Automatic Admissions Program. Are there any questions about that item? House Bill 5743 or 5745, an act concerning the training of solar installation workers, or House Bill 6097, an act concerning tuition waivers for para educators who seek a degree in education. Representative Cooley.
This is, I'm kind of putting the question out because it should be addressed later. But is this going to be for those that are certified, or also include paraeducators who've come into the system to fill holes who do not currently hold certification? That distinction, I think, will eventually have to be, has it already been figured out, or that will have to be figured out?
Yeah, like other proposed bills, that is yet to be determined, but that will be, that question I think can be answered at a public hearing and by this committee when we vote to draft. If we vote to draft. The next item is, are there any other questions on that bill? The next item we already mentioned, an act increasing the number of student members on the Board of Trustees at UConn. The next item is Senate Bill 231, an act requiring the insurance commissioner to promote development of the insurance industry and insurance workforce in the state. Are there any questions on that item? Proposed Bill 740, an act concerning critical skills in demand by employers in the state. Are there any questions about that? Representative Case.
Very interested to hear this. As some of you know, we're working on 5001, which is trying to increase the critical skills and the people for the IDD population. And this can also be fit into 5001 to try to move it along, because the dollars are in that bill. And it does exactly that by enacting more people in the critical skills in the population. So the next two are very interesting topics that can fit into 5001. I'd love to hear them, but it's a subject that we are talking about in that bill.
Good to know. Representative Cooley, did you also have a question? No, I'm sorry. Okay. And so if there are no further questions or comments about 740, item number 711, Senate Bill 741, an act concerning post-secondary education outcomes for students with disabilities. Are there any questions about that Representative Case previously mentioned? Seeing none, then I guess I'll accept a motion. I'll accept a motion to reserve for subject matter public hearing all of those items listed under number 4, except for the item number 3, which we had previously voted on. Is that motion's been made by Representative Case and seconded by Senator Slapp. If there is no further discussion, we'll have a voice vote on that item. Those items, on all those in favor of reserving those for public matter subject hearing, please say aye. Any nays? That motion passes. Thank you. Item number 5, there's one item, it's a change of reference, Senate Bill 799, and that concerning the free application for federal student aid, refer to education. Is there any questions about that item? Somebody like to make a motion to move Senate Bill 799 to education? That's been made by Representative Case, seconded by Representative Haynes. If there's no further discussion, we'll have a voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. That brings us to item number 6, concepts to raise. There are 3 here. One, an act I'm sorry, you're right. There are 4 here. An act concerning the recommendations of the Open Educational Resource Coordinating Council. An act concerning the ratio of full-time to part-time faculty in the regional community technical colleges. Item number 3, an act concerning the foundations of the regional community technical colleges. And item number 4, an act concerning academic freedom. Are there any questions about any of those items? Representative Cooley.
On number 2, the ratio full-time to part-time faculty at the regional community technical colleges, would it be possible to also include administration as well into that question?
So a ratio of part-time.
Full-time to part-time to administration in the community colleges. I think that would give a kind of a broader view of where our resource dollars are going.
Yeah, if
on that
we can speak after the committee, I'm open to that idea. I think we can think about including a ratio of faculty to administrators in the system, if that's what you're getting at. Yeah.
Yes, thank you
Sure.
very much.
Right. Are there any additional questions about any of these agenda items? If not, then I'll accept a single motion to raise the 4 items. It's been made by Representative Haynes and seconded by Representative Rochelle. If there's no further discussion, we'll have a voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion passes. Okay, that's the end of our agenda item. It is, I was gonna figure out my iWatch here. It's 12:03. We'll leave the votes open, both online and in the committee area. If you're in the if a member's in the committee in the building, they should go to the higher education committee area to cast their vote, or they can cast their vote online with the clerk anytime before 1 o'clock. With that, we'll recess until we adjourn after the close of votes. Thank you.
Okay, so there's two items that we're moving on. Yeah, they said to kind of like, even if you're not voting on Zoom, just to kind of like, so it can get, recorded. So the first item that we voted on was an act concerning health insurance for retired part-time faculty of the Connecticut State University System. So that was HB 5737. And then the second item was HB 5233.
Yes,
So on 5737.
I will be yes.
Yep.
I mean, 5233, I'll be yes also.
Okay.
And then the voice vote overall, then will I be captured for that from an attendance standpoint? Or how does that
Yes,
work?
I'll put you down. Beside
Okay,
the mic.
perfect. Thank you.
Okay, hi, how are you?
I'm Weir.
Yep.
So I'll be yes on the first one.
Yep.
And no on the second.
Okay. And just to confirm, it was no on an concerning the loan repayment options of the Connecticut Higher Education Supplemental Loan Agreement.
5233 was a yes.
Okay, then I'll just edit it. Okay, I made the adjustment. Yep.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay. Hello, Representative Paris, how are you? Let me just raise my volume. Sorry.
It's okay, no worries. Just wanted to vote.
Yep, okay, so let me just, which one's the first?
Gonna be agenda number 3, number 1. That's the number 5.
Okay, so the first item we voted on was HB 5233, and that concerning the loan repayment options of the Connecticut Higher Education Supplemental Loan Authority.
I vote in favor.
Okay. Yes. And then the second item is an act concerning health insurance for retired part-time faculty of the Connecticut State University System. That's HB 5737.
I vote in favor as well.
Okay, awesome. And
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great
You
day.
need anything else?
Nope, that's everything. I'll have you down for attendance as well.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
leave, bye. Awesome. I did one time.
Well, that was because the other guy did like action.
Yep, so, yes. So for HP 5233? Yes. And then for HP 5737, and not concerning health insurance for retired part-time faculty of the Connecticut State University System. Thank you. Have a good day. Sorry. Hello?
Hey, Jazaira, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? Representative?
I just need to vote really quickly, right?
Yeah, so first one was HP 5233, and that concerning the loan repayment options of the Connecticut Higher Education Supplemental Loan Authority. Are you able to turn on your camera by chance?
Yes. Give me 1 second.
Yep.
Can you see me? Wi-Fi is great right now, but can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Representative Brown votes yes on that one.
Okay, and then the second item was HB 5737, and that concerning health insurance for retired part-time faculty of the Connecticut State University System.
Okay. Representative Brown votes yes.
Awesome. Thank you. I hope
Thank you. All right. Bye.
Almost. I gotta make sure not. I don't think so, because I left a voicemail to his aide. But like, I guess today he probably wasn't in the office, so